Hi, good afternoon, and happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to this week's Nice Talk. I am Chris Bauserman, the Vice President of Product Marketing at Nice in Contact. And today I'm going to not show you my risotto recipe because I'm going to let Gordon Ramsay do that for you in a much more appealing and compelling manner. I hope you've all seen that video we have out there of the new Gordon Ramsay series. And this is not it's not even risotto, it's actually orzo, so it's another imitation. So I promise today no cooking, no swearing, and no throwing of objects at the screen. But instead, I'm excited to follow up on what Gordon Ramsay really talked about in terms of no compromises and what it means to deliver an excellent customer experience and how you really need to make sure you've got the right ingredients to make that happen for your contact center, for your business. And just as he talks about the importance of ingredients and team and focus and discipline, that's what many of you are seeing across your customer service organizations, your environments, where customer experience is no longer just as a sort of a back office function. And it's actually a pretty interesting comparison to cooking and chefs. If you think about it, the whole notion of Gordon Ramsay as a popular figure, as a celebrity, is probably 10 or 15 years old, right? If we think of back in the 90s, maybe mid 90s and before, there really wasn't much of a thing as a celebrity chef, right? You went to a restaurant, if the restaurant had nice fancy tablecloths, good environment, it became you had a good experience, you good reputation, you took your friends and your clients there. But then if you started thinking about it, kind of late 90s, early 2000s, the notion of celebrity chefs took off. And why that was is because the actual dining experience, the food, the experience really started to matter, right? And so that was also a lot of times fueled by review sites, social media, and of course, television before that. So all of a sudden, the Yelp reviews, the cooking shows, the cooking channels really started transforming going to a restaurant to just being about maybe a big brand reputation, a national chain or hotel chain, and the sort of how nice the restaurants looked in terms of the dining room, to really focusing on the quality of the ingredients, the chef, and that experience. And I think we're seeing at a broader scale, that's what's happening today in terms of businesses across the spectrum, where customer experience is that missing ingredient, is that real special draw, more so than what the dining room looks like, more so than just the restaurant's name. And we're seeing customer experience being used by upstarts to disrupt large established companies by being able to get word of mouth and differentiate customer experience. And of course, social media amplifies that because we're really in this the experience revolution, where the customer voice and the sort of social platforms to really talk about that can make great experiences go viral much faster and draw new business or cannibalize existing businesses. But it can also, of course, go the opposite, right? It's bad experiences, bad quality ingredients can really disrupt things much more quickly than ever before. And if we think back to the Gordon Ramsay and the restaurant analogy, I think it's pretty fair to say that contact centers are sort of like the kitchen of your business, right? They're you don't see them, right? It's not the nice storefront on the street. It's not the maitre d' in the tuxedo greeting you just to greet you for your reservation. It's not the fine linen tablecloths, but it's the people who work and toil to really create the ingredients and create that great customer experience day in and day out at the front lines. That's either going to be your front line in terms of delivering new customers, delivering the kind of exceptional experience that will bring them back, or it's the last line to actually save them, right? In the sense of preventing a customer from walking out to your competition. So if we think about that, then it comes down to, well, so how do you deliver a great customer experience in that notion, or in the world where all of a sudden it's elevated, right? So if you think back of expectations, right? So customers are expecting more. Your executives and your board and your investors are expecting more from customer experience. So no one wants to be a customer experience or CSAT also ran. And so again, if you think about that, and you think about your jobs, your day-to-day jobs, running a contact center, being responsible for delivering parts of a contact center operations, you can't do the same things that you used to do 3 years ago in terms of the KPIs, in terms of the customer experience, and have your customers or your employees be happy, right? So, or your bosses give you a high five or promotion. And of course, employee engagement is a really big thing, right? Because we know in a tight labor market, with 3.9% unemployment and contact center agents always being a high risk of attrition, high turnover, you just can't afford to have them have a bad experience either. Not because they won't deliver a great customer experience, but because you're going to lose them more quickly than you can replace them. So if we think about all those things, then you have to look at it and say, well, what are the ingredients that I really need to be able to deliver that great customer experience in this world for both my customers, my agents, as well as my executive team. And so I think, if you think back to ingredients, and again, Chef Ramsay's always focused on having great ingredients to start off with. Now, let's talk about the technology of the contact center. So here is, of course, here's a phone, right? State of the art, probably 2001, maybe 1998. Keep it in the house in case of a backup, in case all breaks down in terms of cell phones. But this used to be state of the art, right? This used to be a nice phone here. It's got caller ID. It's got all kinds of presets. I don't use this. This is unplugged, sitting in my closet in case of disaster. This is not what you want to use as your day-to-day for the home. This is not what you want to do to run your business, right? So what do I use every day? What do you use, right? iPhone. So digital smart devices, right? This is the equivalent of sort of an on-premises ACD and telephony trying to run your contact center and your customer experience versus what your customers are looking for, what your employees are looking for, and what you use in your daily life. And of course, why is the smartphone, the iPhone, the Samsung so much better than a plugged-in landline, right? Well, it gives you the freedom and the flexibility to be able to move it around and take it on the go, just like having one single call queue that you can redirect, whether it be to spread contacts geographically, disaster recovery, right? So many of you on the East Coast bracing for a hurricane, being able to quickly move to work at home agents or to shift contacts to other places. It's very easy to spin up and add new applications and services. So again, whether it be innovating new channels like social, or adding artificial intelligence, which I know every single one of you is being asked by your CEO, what are we doing on AI? What are we doing in terms of self-service? How are we taking advantage of these new technologies? I can't add a new app on this phone, right? This is what it is. It plugs in the wall. It takes 5 presets and then gives me caller ID, right? This has an unlimited extensibility and flexibility to keep currents, to keep going on, right? So the latest update coming out next Monday for Apple is going to have a whole bunch of new applications that my 2-year-old hardware is going to be able to handle. So so you think about living in a digital world personally, and our customers living in digital worlds, and your employees living in digital worlds. That analog versus digital is really the difference between a legacy on-premises ACD switch and PBX switch to run your customer experience, run your contact center, versus having an iPhone, versus having your actual cloud customer experience platform. So I think that's when we talk about one of the things that could really make a big difference in terms of kind of bending the curve in terms of both costs, in terms of dramatic reduction in cost for your contact center, as well as innovation. That move to the cloud is as big of a difference as going from a plugged-in landline to an iPhone. And if we think about this, we break it down in terms of that modern customer experience. So innovation. So the artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, right? Everyone's probably being asked, even if you don't have a project going, what are you doing about it? What should we do about it? Research for this week. Give me a pilot. With a legacy on-prem system, you have to bolt it on top. You aren't able to expand or update that to add automation capabilities. You're basically locked in, right? You're tied to compromises by your system on-prem, even if it looks like it's fully depreciated by finance, even if it looks like it's free. It's sort of trapped you. So having a cloud system that's open and pluggable to add partners and to take automatic updates lets you get ahead of the curve, try the new experimentation on things like chatbots and automation and different digital channels. If we look at TechStop, which is a leader in online fashion, they do a subscription service for fashion. So they've got a very loyal, very high growth customer base. They were able to add natural language IVR and chatbots to help different cases in terms of helping people place orders, change and return things, check on shipping, and be able to get really high containment rates on this and be able to do so very quickly with a huge ROI. So they're able to reduce the time it takes to answer customer questions by 25%. So giving better customer service, but at lower cost. And they've got the flexibility to plug that into our CX1 Cloud Customer Experience platform and give you the ability to go through and also add that on seamlessly. If we look at being able to personalize and really route your contacts without boundary, like you would with a physical single-site contact center, Mobile Mini is a great example of a customer who they have shipping containers that they use as temporary storage for construction, renovation projects, and they've got offices all around the country. So you think of like a U-Haul or car rental all around. Instead of taking all the calls coming in and all the emails coming in to their one central contact center, they're able to use with the cloud contact center, spread those all out. So they first route to the local office, the local shop. So you can actually have that personalized conversation with someone who knows your area, who knows where your store is, who knows what side of the parking lot to put that in, so it's not going to be as visible to customers, and really help you get that personalized service. And they'll be able to route that to regional offices or ultimately back to the centralized contact center if you need to. And so by going to a flexible cloud solution where they weren't tied to literally the wires plugged into one physical contact center, but had a virtual queue in the cloud that could span all the different locations all at once and have that dynamic routing, they were able to get much more personal, much more efficient in terms of optimizing the queue and staffing needed. And not only did they cut costs tremendously by about 30%, but they were also able to improve their NPS from 77, which is already fantastic, all the way up to the high 80s, right? So you're talking about tremendous benefits in both cost reduction and personalization. So, so all these, so again, we kind of think about the whole why cloud and why this can really help be that secret ingredient for a great customer experience while also helping you reduce costs. So now, a couple questions are, well, okay, that sounds good. Well, how do I get there? So, so one of the things, it's always easy to look at is, what are my timing? What's my events, right? So looking at any kind of upgrades or renewals in your contact center are a great time. Now, the good thing is we've got some different flexible options, right? It could be, if you're updating your PBX, looking to a new unified communication system, or looking to a cloud communications platform, that's also a great time to replace your ACD and your call routing. If your call routing system is up for a renewal or maintenance upgrade, that's also a great opportunity. But you don't have to start with the ACD, right? If you've got making an upgrade or change to your WFO, your workforce optimization, you could start with that in the cloud and connect in a hybrid fashion down to your on-prem ACD, and then when that's up for renewal, be able to swap that out and connect it. And so the other question is then, well, how do I choose which cloud customer experience platform or contact center platform I go with? So again, the first thing I'd say is choose take Gordon Ramsay's advice, right? Don't compromise. So you want to make sure that you're delivering the best customer experience, the best experience for your agents, and save your business the most money. So you want to look for someone who's got an all-in-one solution, so you can get out of the game of managing point product integrations and fragmented experiences for your customers and your agents, and be able to have an all-in-one platform that gets them productive from day one and really allows you to consolidate vendors, consolidate costs. The other thing is, of course, expertise and experience matters, right? Just like if you look at the Gordon Ramsay video on imitators, right? There's no substitute for that experience and expertise to help you configure your connectivity and your networking, your call flows correctly, but also deliver that worldwide support for multinational businesses and that personal touch for local and small businesses. And of course, if you look at the other big part of it is looking at managing expectations. So I think one of the big things is a lot of customers that I talk to who are larger environments, who've been on a very customized legacy system for a while, remember the last implementation or the last upgrade they went through was pretty painful. It might have taken them 18 months, 2 years, or even 3 years. The great thing is when you're moving to a cloud contact center platform, that's dramatically shortened. So you can actually go from someone like Radisson Hotel Group, who moved they moved 500 agents from 3 different contact centers around the world within less than 3 months. And so we're able to get them all up and running on a cloud contact center platform, including adding new digital channels, geo redundancy and failover between sites. So getting a lot of additional benefits in the process in addition to cost reduction. So again, so it's one of those things where talk with other customers who've done it, talk with services partners who've made this happen, and really understand what's possible, how fast it's possible, and how easy it can be with the right partner and the right planning. And so with that, I think one of the big things I'd ask is if you want to learn more about some of the advantages of moving your contact center to the cloud and some best practices on how to get there and how to plan for it, I would absolutely invite you to reach out to us by going to nice.com/cx1. So that's nice.com/CXONE. And we've got great resources for you there. And it's also where we'll be updating the Gordon Ramsay videos each week or so, and showing more about what Gordon and the crew are up to, and get some best tips on how not to compromise on a great customer experience, and learn something about moving to the cloud in the process. So with that, thanks everyone for your time today, and hope you have a happy Friday, a great weekend. And again, if those of you who are on the East Coast, please stay dry and stay safe, and take care. Thank you.